folks, it is 2026. We can all forget 2025 happened. In case you didn't know, had a bit of a crash in June and just getting back to some form of fitness. So I decided, what better than ZRL? Thankfully, this year they have the Development League, and so they're splitting up the Bs in a higher class and a lower class. I think FTP threshold for development is 3.8 and lower. As you can see here, we're taking on the Harrogate Circuit. I also refer to it as Harrogate because it's atrocious. It's very bumpy. There's nothing straight about it. It never let up. And you just die, which is what happened tonight. Shocking. Big first effort of the year. It is a points race, so we're getting FAL and FTS across every banner. There's some questions about whether there's points across the lap banner. Earlier races during the day showed some points, but then apparently in the final tally they're going to remove them. Don't really know what's going on. Anyway, onto the race. This race starts off hot and doesn't really let up. The Otley Road climb is not timed, but it's just this long, draggy 3-4%. I think it jumps up to 6 at one point. Like 3 or 4 minutes of torture, I guess you can say, to start off a race. Everyone's just feeling each other out. Thankfully, this being the Development League, we're, climbing at 300 and not 400, which is what probably the guys in the regular B1 division had to do. Not much of a split happening. Thankfully, on the first lap, everyone's kind of fresh. One guy goes off the front just about now. Another dude tries to bridge, and there's some shenanigans happening, but it's the Development League, so you need to put out quite a bit to be able to go out front and make it stick on a pack like this. So I suspect he hung out there for a long time. I'll be surprised if he doesn't get DQ'd for having put down too much power and exceeding the limits, but we'll see. It's WTRL, it's Zwift, you never really know. Anyway, we sort of ignore the guy on the front. He's clearly making a go at points, which, as you can tell, is still 4.25 kilometers to go, so it's not close. And from the mini map, you can see that it's pretty bumpy. So we're just kind of leaving him alone. At this point, team's trying to figure out what the strategy is for everyone and trying to plan how we're going to attack the other teams on the KOM to get maximum points. This is the first kind of downhill where we get a bit of a rest. Well, before that, there's a bit of a climb here, and we go into a bit of a downhill and then another climb before we hit the KOM. I think this is Pot Bank Road climb coming up. So we're going to go down there and go super fast, which is always kind of fun. So yeah, at this point, feeling not bad, but you can see my heart rate's elevated. I'm out of shape. I'm trying to get back to the swing of things, doing some low zone 1, zone 2, commuting to work in the winter in Toronto. Not ideal, bit of a sufferfest, but it's all worth it. It's good mileage. If I can suffer through the winter here, I can suffer through summer rides, that's for sure. So we're going to come up to the first KOM soon. Again, we're targeting OTR and keeping an eye on those guys. They're our main competition. Although it's a pretty small field, I think there is only 25 riders or so, which gives, a lot of room for Z Sunner and Sisu to make plays as well. Our team's pretty strong, and I think front to back we had a legit shot at winning tonight. Again, it is a points race. FAL, a point across every line, which has changed from previous where there was a set amount of points that were given. So here we come on the first KOM, and it's still pretty bunchy. Most of the pack is still here. Nobody's really been dropped yet. and you can see they're putting out just over 300, 330 to kind of stay in the pack. A little kick here to move up a couple wheels in the 400s. But, you know, I was talking to the guys, I think in B1 last year, I would have had to be doing something like 400 plus just to stay in the pack in Bs. So it's nice that Zwift have given us guys who are, you know, making our way back into fitness, etc., a little bit of competition to not just get dropped out the gate doing above threshold and then just zone 2 the rest of the time. This is the little selection point. Everyone hits their feathers. I find myself a little too far back here. Unfortunately, my position's not great, so I have to dig pretty hard to try to make up a couple wheels for the FAL. I was a little bit disappointed with my positioning, but again, as you can tell, my heart rate's 189 at that point. I peak at 189. It's not like I'm not working. So you can see the pain on my face there. Not feeling great. And guess what? The sprint's coming up next. And I just can't help myself, honestly. When it comes time to a sprint, I know it's a bad idea. I know I shouldn't be going for it. But I see it, and then I just go. And the guys are like, go for it, Ramy. And in hindsight, probably a bad call. I think if I hadn't gone for it, and I would have probably, hopefully, maybe stayed in the pack. So I've done it before. I know that I can't help myself when it comes to a good sprint. And here I go, just kind of nail it. Not full gas. I'm holding some back here. But everyone really took off, and I timed it almost perfectly. I don't know what I ended up getting FAL just because of the finish line there, but managed to snag the FTS, which I think is only 10 points. It's not a big deal anymore. It's been nerfed pretty considerably. That comes up behind me, and you know, I'm still okay at this point. I'm still okay. Recovery, focus on it. It's very lumpy course, so you don't get many moments. Good sign is my heart rate goes down rather quickly once I get respite. So I was in the 180s, and then I'm back down to 160s. So, you know, that bodes well for later in the season when I find a bit of fitness and sharpness. Seeing my heart rate go up and down is a good sign for me, instead of just hanging out and not coming down. Here's a little drag to the finish. We're almost down lap 1. And I had hit my feather earlier because I was dying and I wanted to make sure I stick with the pack. So I had to burn a couple matches here just to stay with these guys who are pushing, you know, some big watts. Most of these guys are pretty big, so their WKG numbers are low on the right, but they're just pushing actual wattage. So they're tough to keep with. And I've put on some weight too since my injury, and so here I am, mostly on the struggle bus. Lap 2, once again, on the Otley Road climb. I think we're down to a group of 12. I'm hanging out the back, and there's 12 of us left, and I was really hoping to be able to hang with these guys and stay kind of in that 10-12 position. And I think I did relatively okay. Like my heart rate, again, it's in the 170s, which, you know, if you go back to some of the races from last year, I was having trouble, unless it was in a sprint or a kind of end of the race, to really get my heart rate super high. Probably because I was in decent shape. It was spiking, but then coming down really quickly. But, you know, again, this drag is just to stay with the group, and I'm in the mid 170s. I'm pushing, you know, 280, 300 watts just to stay with the wheels. These things hurt, and you can see again by the look on my face, I'm struggling, but I'm doing what I can, and almost get dropped here. really close. Thankfully, Trash Panda's there. I can snag Trash Panda's wheel, and they bring me back to the main group. Back up after this small respite before another little drag here. Me and Matt, a teammate who's in the black dirt jersey, working together here to try to bridge up along with Trash Panda to make it back to this pack of 10. We're going to be coming down the hill soon and then back into the next KOM. We're going to skip a little bit forward just to save some time, because it's just mostly more of this to the next selection point. Here we are coming up to the KOM, down the hill to the right. Terrible position at the front. So I have to kind of step off the gas, and then find myself yo-yoing to the back, and then having to burn match to get back onto the wheels. If you find yourself coming into a KOM on the front and you're not trying to be on the front, you're toast. It's really hard because you let off, and then you have to work against the group to make sure that you don't get spit up the back, but you're not pulling everyone up. So I'm pushing again, high wattage. This is VO2 max for me at this point, nowhere near FTP, because my FTP is probably about, 250 or something. So I know that I've got a limited amount of matches. Heart rate's in the 180s, mid 180s, which is pretty dire for me at this point. And then everyone hits their feathers, and bye-bye. I am trying to stay connected here, really working hard to, but I get kind of dangled out with this Sisu guy who just dusts me, and then Trash Panda, who's also on the struggle bus. I go past him, and then we whip around, but really that's kind of the end of the race for me. Still managed 9th FAL, but not great. The rest of the race, I am basically with these guys. I was solo for half the lap. We're back at a KOM for lap 3 now. So between KOM lap 2 and KOM lap 3, I was kind of riding solo. Decided to wait up for this group of 4 behind me, which included a teammate, and see if I can, work with these guys and at least feel like I'm doing something other than just burying myself for no reason. I'd run out of gas, and trying to keep them at bay was probably not going to happen. So we're now kind of in the 11 to 15 spot, fighting for position. 2 Sisu, 2 dirt, and Matt does a good job here. Probably goes a little early. He was excited to go for it, and then you see the KOM guy just blow past him. I couldn't hold his wheel. That dude's doing orange numbers, which I can't fathom at this point, but hey, good for him. I bridge up to Matt, and then give him the points because he earned them. And here we are, almost towards the end of the race. There's about 5 clicks left. We still have a sprint to go through, but at this point, all will to live has disappeared, and I'm just hoping to finish it and be done. We have somebody who fell off our little group here, with the other Sisu guys 15 seconds behind. I know it's me, Matt, and this Mikami guy from Sisu, and we're coming up this drag before the sprint, and I just know that I've got nothing left, but trying to get some team tactics going with Matt, and see if we can drop this Mikami guy, but he's just a little too strong for us. So I end up in the middle here, trying to create some separation between Matt and Sisu. I tell Matt to go, and the Sisu guy knows exactly what's happening, and he just leaves me in the dust. And at this point, I'm like, yeah, I've got nothing left. I'm just racing to finish at this point. And here we are coming up to the finish. This finishing drag is not fun, but whatever. I was getting a little worried because the web guy from Sisu started putting in a big dig. He put in 5-6 WKG, and all of a sudden, you know, the gap's at 3 or 4 seconds. So I had to kind of push it and put in a little bit more than I really wanted to, just to make sure that I got 13th. So that's the night, 13th overall, and a good way to get, you know, ZRL back up and running, and you know, start working towards getting some fitness back. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully we can keep these up, and we'll see you in the next one.